Nestled at the base of the Sandia Mountains, the foothills of Albuquerque have long been an outpost of human activity. Ancient Pueblo ruins and abandoned ranger cabins slowly melt into the rugged landscape, remnants of past determination to utilize the area. Join me today as we traverse the foothills and discover prehistoric communities along with more recent endeavors. Massive granite uplifts of the Sandia Mountains dominate your view east of Albuquerque, some 15 to 20 miles from the Rio Grande. The intervening area gently slopes to the edge of the valley, giving way to increasingly steep foothills. Over a series of faults, the hills turn to towering rock slopes and cliffs that make up the western front of the Sandias. Deep canyons cut through the sides, opening into alluvial fans and dry streams. Elevation of the upper foothills is between 6 to 7,500 feet above sea level. Sandia is Spanish for watermelon, a reference to the pinkish-red hues projected at sunset, said to resemble a watermelon slice. Springs and small streams distribute limited water to the foothills. Deer are common, and some live among the houses of local neighborhoods. Rabbit, squirrel, and a variety of birds are also present. Mountain sheep were here in historic times, but the local herd is now gone. The only common large game present is mule deer. Local predators include coyotes and the occasional bobcat. Bears are more likely to wander out of the mountain in the fall time when they are trying to build fat reserves, and residential trash cans are especially tempting. The local climate varies greatly, with cold winters and hot summers, which can be quite extreme. Spring alternates between warm and cold spells, and the fall tends to be a pleasant time, with cool, sunny days. Most of the local precipitation takes the form of rainfall in summer and early fall, and winter periods are punctuated by rain and snowstorm. Sitting on a low rise and visible from a popular hiking trail, remnants of the Harl cabin draw passerbys' attention. The cabin was built by the Civilian Conservation Corps in the mid-1930s, but it is believed to have replaced a pre-existing ranger station built between 1907 to 1917, serving what was then called the Manzano National Forest. The main structure was constructed of granite boulders and concrete, consisting of a single room with a porch, window, fireplace and chimney, and metal roof. After it was abandoned, locals would use this and other cabins in the foothills to party away from prying eyes. Broken beer bottles, which we can lovingly classify as Anheuser obsidian, are scattered across the ruin. As a response to ongoing vandalism, the cabin was eventually destroyed rather dramatically by the National Forest, blowing it up with dynamite in the 1980s. Today, we see what remains of the main structure, primarily the lower portions of walls and the fireplace. A stone fountain just outside the cabin still has running water, piped in from a spring that lies to the north, close to a major bend in the trail. Remnants of the concrete outhouse also persist as a deep pit, along with old fence posts that were part of a corral. Looking at these cabin ruins, one could imagine a ranger or two sitting out on the front porch, relaxing after a long day, tending to the needs of the National Forest. Other cabins dot the foothills area as well, notably one attributed to Juan Tabo. Juan Tabo is a well-known street name here in Albuquerque, but with a mysterious origin, as there are no concrete historical records of a person by the name. This has led to development of local legend and speculation. One popular theory suggests Juan Tabo was a shepherd who grazed his flock in the mountains near Albuquerque. Others suggest he was a prominent landowner, or perhaps a local priest or monk. The Civilian Conservation Corps was an early New Deal program begun by President Roosevelt in 1933 and continuing to 1942. During the Great Depression, the CCC employed young men across the nation to work on these projects, building and improving state and national forests and parks. Albuquerque, the Sandia Mountains, and entire state of New Mexico gained new facilities from these efforts that are still used to this day. Prehistoric occupation in the Middle Rio Grande began with Paleo-Indian sites, followed by archaic settlements, having limited maize horticulture. By 600 AD, ceramics were produced locally, and pit house villages emerged during this developmental period. Around 1050 to 1100, new populations and regional interactions led to expansion of these agricultural villages, then raising corn, beans, and squash, supplemented by upland hunting. By 1300, the Classic period had begun, marked by construction of large adobe pueblos consisting of hundreds of rooms, housing an influx of new people immigrating to the area. By 1500, the Albuquerque Basin had 14 to 16 major pueblos established on the Rio Grande. Ceramic advancements, including glazeware, featured lead-based black paint, reflecting broader cultural shifts and material exchange between pueblos. Utilization of these resources, located further away from the river valley, became common during Classic period expansion. To the untrained eye, this mound covered in prickly pear cactus is just another bump in the rugged foothill landscape. However, a multi-room block pueblo lays slumbering beneath the soil in front of us. The small foothills pueblos undoubtedly were derived from the nearby larger villages along the Rio Grande. Archaeologists have sometimes assumed that use of the foothills area was seasonal. However, this does not explain the presence of at least 8 large foothill pueblos containing 10 or more rooms. At least 15 rooms are present at this site we are visiting today. Walls were built of puddled adobe and reinforced with local cobbles. The rooms were built in lines, often too deep. Resulting room blocks then tended to be C or L-shaped, defining a small plaza. There is no indication that any of these mini plazas contained kivas. Based on mound height, this pueblo could have been 2 stories high, although erosion blurs a clear determination. These small pueblos are associated with other features, including rock-bordered gardens, check dams, circular blinds, and grinding slicks. Such features show how the occupants engaged in activities such as hunting, gathering of wild plants, and even a bit of agriculture. Intensity of foothill resource use and occupation was limited by scarcity of water. The largest of the small pueblos, such as this one, tend to be near the most reliable water. Hunting was an obvious pursuit in the foothills, indicated by numerous boulder shelter sites with sherds and lithic debris. These natural shelters often were enhanced with low stone walls to create hunting blinds. Taken together, the foothill sites indicate that local land use spanned hundreds of years and included hunting, gathering, limited farming, and collecting of raw materials. Past climatic fluctuations had major influence on prehistoric occupation of the foothills. During Coalition and early Classic periods, between 13 to 1450 AD, climate reconstruction shows that the environmental conditions in central New Mexico were favorable. This may have encouraged increased use of the foothill area. Conversely, unstable conditions and moderate drought in the mid-1500s may have then sent people away. These days, the area has become increasingly arid, and ephemeral streams are mostly dry. Pueblo occupation and intermittent use of the western foothills ceased entirely around the time of the Pueblo Revolt of 1680. After 1300 AD, the popular black-on-white pottery types, including Socorro and Galisteo from the Coalition period, were replaced by polychrome vessels of the Rio Grande Glazeware tradition. These strikingly different ceramics incorporated a lead-based glazed black paint, along with red, yellow, and white slip. From 13 to 1700 AD, bowls were constructed by coiling and scraping, the clay tempered with crushed rock, and then fired in an oxidizing environment. Bowls were slipped on both sides, and the painted glaze lines are often thick and untidy, bordering on sloppy in appearance, compared to earlier detail of the black on white design. Along with glazeware, black and orange utility pot shards are also found at the Foothills Pueblo we are at today. There is no evidence of ceramic production in the foothills. Rather, all pottery types found here are typical of the large villages along the river. Analysis of tempering material, including basalt and intermediate igneous rocks, reveals that the pots had been made in the valley, then brought out to the foothills. Material remains of the past inform us of the long human history in the Sandias. Today, hikers enjoy the many popular foothill trails or take the tramway up to the peak. Civilian Conservation Corps era picnic shelters are still used annually, almost a century after their construction, and after each rain, more shards of Pueblo pottery emerge from the soil, exposing an even older past of occupation. It is a joy to have this human history in Albuquerque's backyard. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the channel to join me on our next adventure.